Hello and welcome. I am so happy to have Jen Moss here and Michael Ralph. We're going to be having a conversation about the article, Creating a Happier Workplace is Possible and Worth It. One of the things that we've been trying to also incorporate is this, this feedback piece and survey piece. I know people don't like giving surveys and questions. And when you do ask them as a manager, what were your wins? What were your losses this week? What can we do to make things better? You don't get a lot of answers. Sometimes people are just quietly just suffering in silence because they don't trust that the manager is going to do something about it.
Yeah.
So maybe you might get some fake answers where they say, oh, well, blah, blah, blah. Here are my wins. Here are my just to the check off those boxes. But what I do like from what you said is this idea of auditing your
Mhm.
workflows. That's come up a lot. And most of our clients have said, well, we get stuck in this high workload dimension, but what we're not doing is stepping back to analyze like what's the infrastructure? What do we need? Where are things in this process line broken? In terms of employee well-being and going into 2024, like have you had conversations with other collaborators? I know you've talked about like Google, Airbnb, and Hilton and Visa stuff in your article, but since then, have you met with smaller or large scale companies that have implemented some of these strategies? Because what we're seeing is that we do ask them for survey and then they give us these phenomenal ideas. It's like a page of ideas of these are all the things we want for our wellness. But then when we initiate one of those ideas, there's not a lot of buy-in. So just kind of wanted to see what you're seeing in your space.
Well, when I've done going back to that non-work related check-in, I see where they fail and I see where they succeed. And I've watched where they succeed is when we have a very patient approach to it, where we look at and we look at something like trust. I mean, how long is trust going to be built? And if you're coming from a deficit where people don't trust you, you have to imagine it's going to take even longer. And so when something doesn't work for a few weeks or a month or two, we see leaders really get frustrated. The whole point is that people don't trust that you're going to keep up with this action. So it's about choosing one thing that people agree on and we're all bought in, and then be patient with the uptick. People might not share with you in those first 4 months even of that non-work related check-in that you've had every single week. You might have someone that's just very uncomfortable and mistrusting. But then one day you'll start to see that shift because you've said, I'm going to show up every single week and ask these same questions. And the people that share are going to see their ideas actioned. And then they're going to say, okay, well, that person shares and they're getting this feedback. And it's just about not giving up. This is a lifetime lifestyle change, not a diet kind of shift. And the more we think about it, like, oh, I just want to have instant gratification, instant results. Everyone's just going to be, their burnout's going to be solved and we're all going to be happy. That's not how it works. Even grief, what we've gone through for the last several years, it can come up in the most shocking, unexpected ways. So it's about persistence, consistency, and building trust over time and having a lot of patience with people if you want to see that needle actually shift.